Hi everyone, in today's video I am recreating the Sanderson sisters cottage from Hocus Pocus, although I just wanted to say that while I was trying to recreate it as much as possible, it is not exact, and I also did my own thing as far as the layout goes, especially for the upper level of the cottage because it doesn't really show it a whole lot in the movie, and I also wanted to give the sisters each their own bedroom so that if you wanted to actually use this cottage for gameplay, it was a fully functional home, and it doesn't show any kind of like bathroom or kitchen or anything in the movie too, so I did include those rooms in this build, but again, it's kind of like my own interpretation of the cottage, with me also still trying to make the living space, like the main area, as close as possible to the actual movie. And I'm also going to be telling some of my own personal, I guess, paranormal experiences in this video, but I also wanted to give credit to Alex for the water wheel because I did not make it. I did think about attempting to make it myself, but I saw that he made one already because Simimi on YouTube also, I just watched her video when she recreated the same cottage, or well, hers is different of course, like same inspiration, but hers turned out a lot different from mine. And she mentioned that she got the water wheel from Alex's gallery, and I'm going to link it in my description box. But yes, so from Alex Sim 823, he's the one that created the water wheel, and I thought it was perfect, so I definitely wanted to include it for my build too. And with that being said, I will go ahead and get into my ghost story time. So firstly, I wanted to explain that, again, if you didn't see my other video, I'm not trying to tell anybody what to believe or what to think when it comes to ghosts or anything like that. I respect everyone's opinion on the matter, even skeptics, that's fine. I'm just saying what has happened to me in my past and what I believe and everything. And I wanted to mention that I know for a fact it's not things that I make up in my head, because with everything that I experienced in the condo with my husband, which is something that I go into more detail in my Halloween house video, which I will link in the card, that place that I lived, I experienced a lot of things. And then when we got divorced and I moved into my own apartment, I didn't feel anything at all in my apartment. I lived in that apartment completely by myself, and it is the first time ever in my life that I've ever lived by myself. And I literally never felt anything there. I never thought that there was anything. I never was scared to be there by myself. And considering I went from a really kind of crazily haunted place to something that I wasn't even scared to be in alone at night and everything, it's obviously not something that I'm just paranoid about. With that being said, after I moved out of that apartment, before my ex-husband and I got back together, I actually rented a place with my parents for a while. But while we were looking for a place, it was me and my parents and then my 3 younger sisters. So we were looking for a place that was fairly big because I wanted my own space, especially since I was going to be helping my parents with rent and everything. And then all my, sisters and everything wanted their rooms and everything. So we're looking for, certain criteria of homes, and we came across this one that was really nice, based on the pictures. It was really nice looking, it was big, and the price was way lower than what other people were asking for the same kind of size or condition of the house, right? So we thought it was really interesting, and we decided to go and kind of look around the property and see it in person before we actually contacted a realtor or anything, to make sure that it was something we were really interested in. And all of us went and we're walking around the house and everything. Of course, the house is locked, so we're walking around the outside of the house, around the yard and everything, kind of looking in the windows and stuff. And this house was right near the jungle, and in the backyard past the patio area and everything was all jungle behind there. And here in Guam, we have this belief of our ancestors, the spirits of our ancestors protect the land and the jungle especially. And if you go into the jungle without asking permission, or if you go somewhere where you're not necessarily allowed to go, they could make you sick. The spirits, they could make you sick, or in some cases haunt you, or whatever the case may be. So we were walking around the house and everything, and I'm in the backyard area, and my dad and one of my younger sisters are back there with me, and we're just kind of looking around. And then my dad and my sister walked to the front of the house, But then my dad started calling me, and he was like, Tierra, oh, Tierra. And I answered him. I was like, yes, whatever, like, what do you want? But he didn't respond. And so I was like, oh, okay, I guess I'm supposed to go to the front. And so, I thought he was calling me like to come look at something or whatever. So I walk around the front of the house, and he's just walking around, and I was like, did you need something? He was like, no. And I said, okay, well. And so I'm just looking around, I'm just continuing looking around the house. And this house it was 2 stories, and it had stairs that went up on the side of the house, like on the outside, because the second floor had like an entire balcony area all around it. So the stairs led up to the top, so you could actually walk around the top floor too and look inside the windows, which I thought was great. And so I go up there, and it's hot. It's hot here in Guam. If you don't know what Guam is a tropical island in the Pacific Ocean, and it's literally like summer all year round. And this particular day, it was really hot outside, and we're out there, like in the afternoon and everything, and the sun's beaming and everything. And so I'm walking around the outside of the top floor and everything, looking in the windows, and I hear my sister calling me. And she's like, Tierra, Tierra. And I was like, what? Like, why do you guys keep calling me? And so I walked around, and I was like, yes, and I didn't see her. So I looked over the balcony, and my whole family is sitting in my car with, like, they're in there cooling off with the aircon and everything, the air conditioning. And I was like, okay, I guess they're rushing me. I'm thinking like, well, I guess I better go. They don't want me to look around the house anymore. So I go down, and I get in the car, and I was like, how come you guys weren't answering me when I was responding to you? And they're like, what? And I told them, I said, I heard Dad and Trista calling me. Like, you guys kept calling me, and I kept saying what? And if you guys wanted to go, you could have just said, come on, let's go, or something. And my mom like turned around, and she looked at me, and she's like, nobody was calling you. And I said, really? Yeah. And my dad was like, yeah, I wasn't calling you. I said, are you sure when I was in the backyard you weren't calling me? He was like, no. And I said, seriously, I was like, are you guys jerking me around? Like, come on. I heard Dad called me like twice, and I heard Trista calling my name like 3 times. And they're like, no, nobody was calling you. And, they thought about it, because when I looked over the balcony, my parents saw me looking down at them. And they're like, is that why you were looking at us from up there? And I said, yeah, I thought you guys were calling me. I thought you guys were rushing me to go. And they're like, no, we were just hot. We were just trying to cool off in the car. And so I was like, oh, okay. Weird. And, but we really liked the way the house looked. So my parents decided to call a realtor like the next day or whatever. And they asked me to meet them there at the house when I got off work, like the day after that. And so I get off work, and I go straight to the house to meet them and the realtor, because the realtor opened up the house so we can actually see inside and not just be walking around like some creeps. And like I go inside, like, they had been walking around already. They already opened up the windows, aired out the place and everything like that. And I go in there, and I'm walking around, and I just like felt really weird, and like there was like this heaviness, right? And I know that sounds so typical, like to say, oh yeah, there's a heaviness, okay, yeah, sure. But like literally I felt like there was just something weighing down on my chest, right? And this place had a basement. Okay, I know that's probably normal in most places, but here in Guam, we do not have basements. Like, it's just not a common thing in any kind of house, right? Here, anyway, because our houses are cement and everything, because we have typhoons and stuff, and we worry about flooding and all that nonsense, whatever. But this place had a basement, and when my mom opened the door to look in the basement, like, I glanced in the basement, I said, oh, hell no. I'm not going down there. I had the creepiest feeling just looking down the staircase to the basement, right? And I was like, never mind, I'm just gonna keep looking around the house. And my mom's like, yeah, come upstairs, let's go look up there, whatever. And I'm walking around, and literally the pressure on my chest was just getting heavier and heavier. And I'm like gasping, right? Like almost like I just went running or something. And I'm like, oh, like I can't breathe. And my mom was like, she was like, are you okay? Are you hot or something? I was like, no, I'm not hot. Like there's even a nice cool breeze that day. And they had all the windows open, the breeze is going through the house and everything. So I wasn't hot at all. And my heart started like, kind of pounding, like my heart's pounding. It's like I just freaking went running, and I can't really breathe that well. And I go upstairs, and I'm looking at all the bedrooms and everything, and I was just like, oh my gosh, like I can't breathe. I can't be in here. And I told my mom, I said, can you breathe? I was like, I'm having a really hard time breathing. And she's like, yeah, I'm fine, whatever. And so I was like, okay, I gotta get out of this house. I gotta get out. And so I go downstairs and everything, and I kid you not, as soon as I stepped out of that house, I could breathe again. Like that, it felt like there was this huge weight that was lifted off my chest, and I could breathe. And I was like, oh my God. And I was, just like, kind of like when you first take a breath after holding your breath underwater or something, and you come up from the water and you take that first breath. That's what it felt like. I felt like, oh, I can breathe again, like, because there was no more like pressure on my chest and everything. And it was just so bizarre. And the fact that I felt that, and then even like all of that after having just those experiences with walking around the house and hearing things calling my name, like it knew my name and it was calling me and I could hear it, but it was mimicking the voices of my family members. And so after we left that house, like I told my parents that, even though like it looked great and everything like that, we ended up not going with that house, but I was relieved because I told my parents, I said, I honestly feel like if we had rented that place, I think I would have been chased out in a way. Like I feel like whatever was there did not like me being there, and it was like aware of me, or I don't know how to explain it, but I just felt like maybe it was something that I did wrong, like maybe the fact that I was walking around the property and we didn't have the permission of the owners and things like that. Like even though my parents and my sisters were too, like I was kind of, I guess, going further than they were, like as far as looking around everything and like really trying to see inside the house and stuff. So I'm wondering if I just kind of upset whatever was protecting the house. And the fact that I still ended up going back and actually walking through the house, I mean, I know it's so like cliche to say that, like, oh, I couldn't breathe in the house, whatever. Yeah, I know. Trust me. Like anytime I hear, and I've seen a million ghost shows. I mentioned in my other video, like I'm super down for those things. Like I love watching those kinds of stuff, but a lot of times when I hear them say that, like, sometimes people sound a little bit like melodramatic and everything. I'm like, oh yeah, okay, sure, they couldn't breathe. But I'm telling you, like, there was pressure on my chest. I could not explain it. I could not breathe. And it just got heavier and heavier the more I stayed in that house. So, I mean, can you imagine, like, if I'd actually moved in there, if I felt like that all the time, like, I would have been miserable. So, so needless to say, I was kind of relieved that we ended up not getting that place. And it also really creeped me out because this house had a pool. And again, these things aren't really common here in Guam, like unless you have a lot of money. So for like a house to be big and pretty and have a pool and have a low rent, like that's almost unheard of. And this place had a pool, but it was like super eerie because it looked really old and it was like super like covered up, like had a fence around it and everything, like almost like danger, you know what I mean? And so it made me wonder if maybe something happened with the pool and maybe they're like trying to keep people from actually accessing it, or if it was just like that because it was up for rent. I don't know. But either way, it was just like, it was all just kind of really creepy. And yeah. And then also the house that we actually ended up renting, we did experience, or like after me and my husband got back together, we actually found a duplex that we ended up renting with my parents. And not a whole lot happened in this place, but it was still a little bit weird. There was like times where I would hear like a female's voice. Like there was one time when I went into my parents' part of the house, because it was a duplex, but it was like connected in the middle. And so we could actually go back and forth to each other's house. And one time I went over there and someone said hello to me and I thought it was my mom, but there was nobody home. That was really weird. And I know my sisters experienced some things there, but I don't remember exactly what. But that place felt kind of creepy. Oh my gosh, and there was a lot of spiders in that place. Oh my goodness. Like those big, ugly spiders that are like the size of your hand. Oh my god. And I'm so scared of spiders. And one time when I came out of the shower, and this isn't a ghost, of course, but I'm gonna tell it anyway. But one time I came out of the shower when I was getting ready for work, and I had my uniform and everything laid out on my bed. I come out of the bathroom so I could get dressed, and there was one of those big freaking spiders on my uniform, like just sitting there chilling on my uniform, and I just about had a heart attack. I freaked and I started like yelling for my dad and everything, and I had to have my dad come and kill it for me. But literally, oh my gosh, that was the scariest place just for the freaking bugs. I swear to you. Like, not only spiders, but centipedes and stuff. Oh my god. And cockroaches. Oh, it was the worst. I do have some more. I'm going to try to get at least one more video in before the end of October, so it's still like spooky related, because I do have a kind of continuation of the condo that me and my husband lived in. There's like a bit of an extension of that story, but I will get into that in the next video, hopefully. If not, maybe I'll just save it for another time, but I'm gonna try. So anyways, I hope you guys liked this build. I hope you enjoyed some more of my story time. If you did enjoy this, be sure to give my video a like, and please subscribe to my channel if you have not yet. I always appreciate any support, and thank you for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!